people call me is they know if they call me, I'm going to pick up the phone. I could make an AI chatbot to sound like Gabby and probably look a lot better than Gabby and have all the things that would make this work. But ultimately, as humans, we're not built to live isolated.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Tint Podcast. I'm Ricky. I'm glad to be here with my big brother, Josh.
How's it going, everybody? Today we had a very fun conversation with childhood friend of ours, Gabby Casey. Check it out.
What up?
Good. How you doing?
Living the dream, dude.
What's new in your world?
I mean, just the rebranding and figuring all of that
We
out.
were just talking before you got here how she's using AI to just fully rebrand, and I don't know. We got into the AI conversation quick.
Oh, that's not hard for you.
No,
dude, it was wild. I mean, I've used it for other stuff, like just playing around, like to make things funny or to change something up, or like if I'm out networking to do something, to be able to come up with something that's a little bit catchy in order to kind of create a sense of, like make it punny instead of just funny. Yeah. Like, so if I'm looking specifically for a specific type of industry or business owner, putting like industry terminology that they use into it, I could do it on my own. I mean, like my dad says, I like to think that I'm pretty funny, but yeah. Dude.
No, the majority of almost, I never really commented on much of anything when it came to social media. For the sole fact, I go to type something out, I'm like, nah, I'm pretty sure the grammar is horrible here, structures. Am I using the right word? I have no idea. So majority of that's where I started using AI was for responses.
Oh, really?
To where it's just like, this is the response I want. And then that just evolved into, obviously, then anytime I send an email now, especially now that I'm dealing with, we have a national account with a company that I've had to start corresponding with their entire teams and stuff. First email, I was typing it out, I'm like, no. Fed that straight.
That's a negative.
Yeah,
that's a negative, ghostwriter.
I fed that straight into AI, and I was like, all right, let's just for me, just check the grammar, check the structure, just make sure I look like I went to school. Maybe.
Have you upgraded now to on your Mac? You can still just type in what you want to type into the email, select it, and hit rewrite, and that does now. Yeah, that does pretty good on its own. You don't have to go out of the email really.
Yeah, but ChatGPT knows me.
It knows me personally. We have a close, intimate relationship.
That's the downfall.
We were kind of just talking about that.
That's the downfall with so many of the new tools coming out. Is just I have kept going back to my chat only because of the history I have now created with it, and there are certain times where I'm asking it for something, even for Tint Lab, where all of a sudden I'll ask it to structure something, and then it'll add in stuff I've talked about in the past or things I've wanted. It's oh, do you want me to do this too? And it's well, that was the next thing I was going to ask, but sure.
But couldn't you technically take those conversations and upload them to a new AI in order to learn?
Yeah, you can have it. You can tell it hey, I want to continue this conversation in another AI. Can you give me a prompt that I could throw in there so it knows most of the information? But where everything's really heading right now with the agentic agents and stuff and OpenClaw, that's a big reason why OpenClaw exploded like it did. Have you even heard of it?
No, not until you were talking about it earlier.
So what's funny though is all of these big players like Anthropic, Claude or OpenAI or even Gemini now. Gemini launched some cool new features that I didn't know exist that I've been playing around with. That's been a big problem for everybody. But with OpenClaw, so it's open source software that somebody created using AI to create it. He's already a software developer who had already sold a business for $100 million. That was just a Chrome extension tool for working with I think Excel spreadsheets or something like that. But he used Cowork to create OpenClaw. And OpenClaw allows you to use API keys for all the different language models, or you could even run a powerful Mac Studio and run your own local model. So if you have a powerful enough computer, which these computer companies are coming out with now, so we're kind of circling back to when we were kids and computers were $5,000, $10,000. People are going to be buying those. People are going to be buying those again at that price range to run their own local model, because when you're using OpenAI or Anthropic or using any of those right now, and you're using like even OpenClaw, you're giving it an API key to your account that you put like a spend limit on, but as it does compute, you're getting charged per token. So if something you ask it to do costs 1 million tokens, there's a price right now for how many of those tokens cost through each of those.
Right.
And
so it's fluctuating.
rather than just like a monthly subscription of $20 or even the maxed out ones that you can use right now for your own personal use of like $200 or $300, whatever it is, with an API key, your spend limit is unlimited. And if you're using the big models like Claude 4.6 or ChatGPT like 5.4, those use a lot of tokens. So with something like OpenClaw, not only can you use all the different models, these agents will determine which model to use based off of how quick it needs to be done and the quality of it to use the least amount of tokens, but it also is storing your entire chat history with it as a local file on your computer. So now the more you use it, the more you have it do, the more it will know about you. And that memory just gets better and better and better and better compared to right now operate. And what happens when Claude just came out with a big update that all of a sudden was way better than ChatGPT, but you're a ChatGPT user and you've got the like, I don't want to switch because it knows me. So I think using something that's like a universal agent that then has your entire history forever and can pick and choose which model to use as the models change and update is going to be the way to go, because then it'll just update with you and it'll learn you better and better and better and better.
Well, and I feel like it matters too, like what's the purpose, right? Like what are you using it for? Because if you're going to be using it for business purposes, like everything that I've been told is that Claude is much better as far as being used and leveraged for business. Obviously, you can use it for the other stuff. ChatGPT is more on the personal side, and it's been more geared towards like, you know, the homeschool mom or just like the general search engine. But you learn really quickly that it hallucinates and that it really doesn't know everything. Like my husband, for instance, he knows a ton of stuff about fish. It's kind of like living with my dad, ironically enough, in a lot of ways, because I mean, you remember coming over and we had all the fish tanks and whatnot. And my husband knows fish. He used to breed fish when he was a kid. And so like he'll ask like ChatGPT questions about specific type of fish. And if they do well with this, you know, one breed of fish versus another. And it'll come back and it'll say, oh, no, like it can't be with this. And be like, actually, and he'll upload the source and then it'll respond, oh, thank you. You are correct. Thank you for, you know, correcting me type of thing. And it's just ChatGPT for him, for his purposes, totally works. He's using it now to learn a ton about filtration. And I'm like, okay, we need to know about filtration, but okay, to each their own. Meanwhile, I'm using it to, hey, this is a really dense email that I just wrote. Can you please make it more concise, clean, and I'll like have it pare it down, because otherwise I have a tendency to be a little bit more wordy or like, but I know what type of person I'm reaching out to. I know their personality style. So I'm like, okay, I need to pare this down. How do we change this language in order to make it sound more direct or whatever?
You just gave me, I'm going to end up using what you just said to me. I actually have to write an email for that account that I'm working, because right now we're trying to get a material switched on vehicles. And right now I wouldn't say it's a fight, but it's a dispute between the quality control team and the thermal team. The thermal team doesn't want to, I wouldn't say they don't want to budge, but also they're not trying to lose thermal properties of one of the products that we have been putting on. And I'm trying to switch it to a product that's actually meant to be on exterior. And it's now I know how I'm gonna comprise the email, because right now I've been going back and forth sending them samples and then also letting them know like the reasoning why I want the switch. It's because like right now they have the most vehicles here in Vegas, but they're opening up other hubs in other parts of the country. One of the issues is getting product. What we have right now is a product that I can get my hands on majority of the time, but sometimes it gets back ordered for months on end. And to where all of a sudden if you hit me with, oh, we have 500 cars or we have 100 cars and I can't get my hands on the product, that's a problem.
Well, so, that's not gonna help you or your business or them. Like when you're talking supply chain.
Well, and then even when it comes to logistics of the install too, it's going to make the install simpler for the installer, so where I can actually find people in those cities. Like I already have ones in Austin. I have someone there that's going to handle the account. I have to find somebody in Miami, and I know they're going to pop up in other cities, to where the product we use right now is a very temperamental product to use. And if you're not used to using that film, it can be messed up very easily.
And you can probably burn through a lot of it.
And it's very expensive.
Yeah.
And that's one thing right now they want me to explain, like, is there a cost difference between the products? It's like, not really, because actually what I'm switching to on the exterior is actually more expensive product, but it will save time when it comes to installation. It's a much easier install. And then I also have talked to that manufacturer and let them know, like, the scope of where this is going to go. Now, like, you just need to give us projections of what's going to happen in those cities, and we'll always make sure we have film for this account in those cities no matter what. And it's a much smaller in scope to what we are switching the film off of. It's a smaller manufacturer, and they're privately owned. So it's like they can make their own decisions. They can move things a lot quicker because they don't have to go through.
Yeah, they don't have to go with all the changes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yay, corporate America. Been there, done that. No, thank you.
But now I know when I write this email how I'm going to want to gear towards the fact that I know I'm writing towards a thermal team. And it's like, even when I was trying to explain to them the difference between things, like I've passed the information along, and it's went through, I think, 2 or 3 different people. And it's like, I keep getting the same kind of questions back. And it's like, can someone call me? Can the head person just call me?
Doesn't that make you feel old? You're like, can we just like jump on a quick phone call? I'm telling you, like, instead of this back and forth stuff, I'm going to be able to.
But because it is corporate, though, they want they have to justify
their jobs too. Like, let's be real. No. They don't, want to be replaced by AI.
Well, everybody should just be using it so you don't get replaced. I'm telling you. Well, everything you're just talking about, once we have these agents set up, you're going to have one you call whatever you want to call it. It's going to be your personal assistant that you talk to. Gary's Gary's a company. Yeah, well, it's not yours. It's a company. That's our first one we're playing around with. But you'll literally, there's connectors too. Like, even just using like Perplexity computers, what I've been playing around with, which is a gated version of the exact same thing. It can do all the same things, but it's just only through Perplexity. What's cool with them is they use all the different models. So it's probably the closest thing to OpenClaw without being OpenClaw, because it uses the different models, and it'll task down and use lower models, like a lower level of Gemini for something, if that's going to use less tokens, and still get it done. But you can connect. They've already got connectors in there, and I know you can do it with OpenClaw, and I know you can do it with Claude now too. You can connect your Google account. You can connect and give it access to as much information about you as you want to give it access to, and then it already has the context. It can see the emails that have come from that person. It can see all the emails you've sent, and then you can even just tell it, like, hey, just like you were just explaining to us, like, hey, I need to write a follow-up email to whoever the person's name is, and this is what's going on. This is why we need to do it, and just have a conversation, audio, let it dictate, and then, okay, cool. You could have done that right before coming on here. We could record this, and when we're done and you get off, it'll already have it drafted up, ready to send for you. And like, probably be perfect because it has so much context.
Well, and you have the ability to be able to go in and to make changes. And once it learns your voice, it's not going to not sound like you. You can also use, little things where you notate, hey, like, don't use the dash, because you don't want people to know that it's coming from AI, and AI has a tendency to use those dashes. I used to use that in marketing campaigns when I'm marketing to other insurance agents, or when I'm marketing to CPAs. Like, I'll come up with a generic email idea, the context, and I know that I only have a short amount of time to make some type of touch to get somebody's attention.
Get a reply.
Like, no different than like if you're looking at building something out for Tint Lab, like you can have an entire email chain. Because what do they say? It's like, it takes an average of the average salesperson, the amount of drop off that happens between the initial contact and ongoing, whether it's making dials for you or sending out emails, it's after the 7th touch, your close ratio jumps like 60%.
Yeah.
60%. Because the average salesperson dies off after making 3, 4, 5.
That's a stretch.
No.
Less than that.
Well, that's only.
I want it to be that. Believe me, I agree.
Yeah,
I want it to be more than just a couple. But yeah, no, and then I have a chat that's early for Tint Lab, and the fact when it comes to just reaching out to people that have opted in and haven't replied back, or us reaching out to old leads that just need to be rewarmed, and then just type in there rewarming a lead. explain kind of
Well,
what.
it's like it'll be automated soon, where it's just automatically going to do it.
It's taking so long.
Well, that's what we got this week blocked off for me to actually dedicate some time to it.
Good.
Well, it's crazy. One of the things we've been doing on there, which I've got the company that helps us run our CRM right now working on in the background to help solve one of the problems. But all of our calls that come through the CRM are recorded now. They're not automatically transcribed, but that's hopefully something that's about to happen. Because what I've been doing when I'm putting notes in and stuff, and I'm about to automate this to happen because I know you can do it manually. So there's a way to train the AI to just do it on its own now, especially now that it can browse through browsers. It doesn't even need an API. Is every call that I have, I immediately take that voice, I throw it into AI, it transcribes it. And then now I've already, with Perplexity, I've converted it down to one action. I just have to give it the file. And then it already has been pre-trained with a bunch of agents and skills that I've given it the template email that I like to send out after the first call. And it transcribes it, creates notes, and creates an email as a doc saved in my Google Drive. And I can literally walk away from that, do something else. 2 minutes later, that's ready to go. Right now, I'm still manually copying those notes into the CRM, and then I'm copying and pasting the email and sending it.
Right.
But the next step is going to be just as soon as the call ends, AI agent automatically takes over, does all of that in the background, adds the notes to the CRM for me, drafts the email, and sends me a text, lets me know the email is ready to send. And then after I've done that long enough and I'm liking that the email's the way I want it every single time, I can just make it to where it just automatically sends it. And then you get rid of all of that.
Yeah. I mean, that's where I think, like, even with what I do, because after every phone call, after every email, all of that has to be uploaded, because when we're talking about like somebody's insurance, at the end of the day, the burden of proof that I did what I said I was going to do falls on me to prove, not on a customer to prove, right? Like, so, and I'm dealing with stuff that's specifically mandated by the state, right? You forget to pay your bill, or you don't add a vehicle appropriately onto a policy, there's a lapse of insurance, and then you get fined. And who does the person call up and yell at? They yell at me.
Yeah.
And, you know, it has nothing, like, it's a wild world to live in, because, I mean, I remember physically driving my check to the State Farm office that we had off of Sahara and Lindell from my dad's house. And I physically walked in, I made that payment directly, because the world of automatic payments and all of that didn't exist. But there's a way to create that functionality within the system to send out those notices, because human error is human error. And API fails. Like when you talk about integrations, when you talk about the way that systems work, like billing systems, even with the large insurance companies that have, you know, millions of dollars at their disposal to build out this type of stuff, I'm just, you know, a little one-man shop. I have a virtual assistant, and I mean, I'm not even leveraging him to the way that I could if we implemented more on the AI side. Yeah. So that's kind of where I feel like I'm personally going, is trying to figure out how do I leverage it, because time is money. Yep. And at the end of the day, I'm way more valuable on the phone with somebody educating a client on something, because that client is then going to refer me business. I mean, the amount of repeat business and referral business you guys have gotten over the years, and having those touch points with those clients. I mean, I don't know how many cars I've had tinted here.
Yeah.
No, I'd say last time we actually looked, in which we should have better dialed in numbers now, because our inside salespeople should be marking our lead sources, but like it's about 56 to almost 60% of our business is referral.
Repeat or referral combined. I gotta show you a new dashboard I made last night. It gives it its exact, bro.
He was showing
and
us
you can
earlier.
break it, dude. It's crazy. All the data of everything that we possibly have is like all in one crazy dashboard now. And over any length of time, you can see what your rate of customers repeating is, and it even shows us over the next 12 months that we should have about 1.4 million in repeats coming in based off of the history of what we normally have. It's wild.
To break it down to auto and flat glass?
Every department. And even film types. It even shows what our COGs and our margins are on every different film type, every different service. Dude, it's a Hermosi dashboard that Perplexity completely created from me using our info. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I did it last night, and like
Is that why you need the price for the film?
Huh?
Is that why you need the prices for the film?
Yeah. Because I've given it the Solar Guard prices. I haven't given it the Edge prices yet.
Yeah, it's
crazy.
wild.
Yeah. It's really nuts.
Well, I mean,
And it's super customizable too. So like normally when you're dealing with like your current CRM, their analytics only show you what they show you. And if you want them to add a new metric in there, like good luck.
They're going to charge you.
Or they just can't do it.
Yeah.
They're not going to do it.
It's just us asking.
Now you can create your own custom dashboard for anything you want. Like you could do one for your home, for your personal finances, and you don't need to pay Rocket Money anything. Like you can just create your own that's completely custom to you, that you have complete control over. And if you did it in something like OpenClaw on an actual your own computer, not in a server, you have complete control of all of the information and data.
And where it's, yeah. Well, and I think that that's like the biggest thing, right? Because like there's this fear of the unknown. And I think that that's kind of where our generation, I mean, obviously like I'm significantly older than you, little dude, but that's where our generation, because we came in, like you made the joke about like the AOL dial-up at the beginning, like when I first got here. Yeah. And the fact of the matter is like, we were the first generation that really got to play with Napster and AOL, Time Warner and dial-up. And like, so that level of, because you have that initial barrier of entry that you're going to have a lot of people that are older that are stuck in their ways. Like, I mean, love him. My dad's not going to likely get into AI or touch AI to try and figure out how he can leverage it for his business. Now, if Abby and I come in and like took a bunch of the data and said, okay, let's try and figure this out. Let's figure out your metrics, because he knows his numbers, but there's another way to do it where he could recreate himself. And that's what we all end up saying. I wish there were 4 more of me. Oh, well, you can do that
100%
with AI, which is what is wild, especially on the administrative side. Obviously, you still physically have to have guys to go out and lay tint. Like you have to have the guys that have the skill set to go out and produce quality work. But with what I do, I have to be able to duplicate my efforts and the amount of phone calls and touch points that I can have with any client at any given time in order to keep that sticky factor that I need in order to generate revenue.
Well, you're amplifying your capabilities.
Totally.
Yeah. It's the people being scared about AI are missing the entire point. Like right now, you can either amplify your own abilities and clone yourself in a bunch of different ways. And honestly, it's the worst it's ever going to be right now. And right now, yesterday I coded up a dashboard for Green Valley to like understand our numbers better. I had it do deep research on Alex Hermosi and all of his books. So then when it built the dashboard, it's showing us all the key metrics we know we want to look at from what we've been learning from him. At the same time, while I was taking a break from that, playing with my little boys, I was like, hey, you guys want to make a video game real quick? And I was like, here, watch this. And told it like, hey, make me Missile Command, just because that was an old game on computers that I remember being fun.
Yep.
And it used $3 worth of credits and was done in like 3 minutes. And it coded up an entire game of Missile Command that was like actually kind of higher graphics than the original one. It works perfectly. And then I was like, that was kind of crazy. I was like, hey, you guys want to make another game like Super Mario? Like, okay, cool. They're like, make it Huggy Wuggy. I'm like, okay, whatever that is. So I tell it, make me level 1 of Super Mario Brothers, Huggy Wuggy style. That was the whole prompt. And 5 minutes later, about $8 worth of credit use, it had the first level of Super Mario with those characters. And it even asked me some questions like, do I want it spooky or do I want it age appropriate? And they said they wanted it spooky. And like it asked me like 3 or 4 questions, and then boom, it was done. And then started playing it, realized that there was a little glitch on like you use the arrows in the space bar to make it move, and when you double jump, it didn't double jump, so you couldn't actually get on anything. Hey, there's no way to jump on top of these because you can't double jump. 1 sec. Okay, cool. Now you can double jump. Oh, when you click on the little when you jump up and hit the little question mark mystery boxes, nothing comes out. Can you make it to where something comes out that he gets it and he becomes bigger, and then when he hits an enemy, he shrinks again, doesn't die? Okay, cool, boom. All of a sudden, I had the whole first, like in a couple iterations, less than $10 spent, a custom video game of the first level of Mario.
Dude, that's wild.
Insane.
Yeah, it's.
I'm playing with it with this kind of stuff just to see like what can it do. And it can, anything you can think of and talk to it about and then iterate on, it can do right now, like anything. It's insane.
Well, and I mean, it makes sense why you have all of these like content creators right now that are out there. I mean, I don't know what your Instagram algorithm looks like right now, but everything that is hitting my Instagram algorithm right now, it's all AI. How do I leverage AI like to create an AI bot that will create X, Y, and Z? This is what businesses are specifically buying. Create your own custom AI bot in order to do X and sell it for this. And it's all of these content creators, because I think they say that Bezos said that like the most millionaires are going to be created within our age demographic within the next 10 years because of AI and what it's going to be capable of doing for us. And it's okay to be, I guess at first I was like, this is scary. Like I didn't like it at all. Now I'm kind of like, okay, like
It's not going nowhere.
it isn't. So I'm more along the lines of like where Ob is. Like I was joking because he was talking about how he wants it to know him really well. And Obby is like, no, this is like not okay. Like you are not friends with me. These are the rules. She set very clear parameters. Like you are AI. You are not a person. You are not a human being. You do not address me like we are friends. You are a tool. And I'm like, but you have to do that because what is it? I think because all of the AI rules are the original AI rules that were actually in iRobot. So the author that originally wrote the rules iRobot, it's the original rules.
That makes sense.
I'm on Do Not Disturb. Somebody's really trying to blow me up.
No, that makes sense though. I mean, use it as a tool. But yeah, the capabilities of it, I could see. The good thing about, I'd say the reason I would think that our generation that will happen is because we obviously have the touch point before it and understand that it took time to gain the knowledge that we do have at the moment, and now we can amplify it. And now the younger generation comes in and just thinks
they don't know any better.
Well, they can just think that it should just be an instant gratification. It's you need experience first, then you feed that experience in.
That's the crazy thing.
But their
instant
models
gratification just got put on 20.
Yeah, I know.
But showed how to make his own video game.
But you're going to be able to see a difference between the person who just is used to that instant gratification and the person that knows how to sit there and tweak it and make it better. They're always going to outperform. And unfortunately, like I would say at least within our industry, we have a bunch of young people coming up, and I'm very excited for our industry for that sole purpose. But they have this outlook on it, like they should be 10 years further down the line. It's like you don't have the repetition in what you're doing,
right?
To be
that's
that
always
skillful.
Existed, though.
Yeah, and I mean,
everybody wants to be further than that.
It's 10 points
more. It's 10 times worse though.
Oh yeah,
they expect it now.
It's going to be though. Like I mean, if you look at like the idea of somebody physically driving and dropping food off at your house. Like, I don't know if you've seen these either, but I keep getting these films on my algorithm that it's like, if you would have told a kid in the 90s and it's like all of these things and it's like a kid with a tape recorder and the kid's like, you mean one day I'm not going to like buy music. It's going to be readily available for me and I can stream any song in the world. And then it's like, what do you mean in the 90s? Like, I'm not going to be limited on what snack. I can literally pull up an app and anything can be delivered to my house. And it goes on and on and on about all of these things. And while that innovation is amazing, there's also this kind of loss of humanity and connection, which is the thing about AI where you do kind of have to approach with caution because you can become best friends with it. I mean, you see a massive uptick in infidelity and the amount of people that are having like these relationships with AI. Dude, it's wild.
Yeah, South Park covered it a while ago.
Oh, South Park has been like 5 years ahead of all this.
Randy is like laying in bed talking to ChatGPT, but it looks like he might be talking to his wife, and then all of a sudden it zooms out and it shows his wife sitting there all pissed off.
Yeah, the therapy session with AI with his wife, and his wife wants to kill him.
It's happening for sure.
But it's about, and that's where I think having like clear rules and boundaries, right? It ultimately comes down, everything in moderation is great. Like it doesn't matter what you're talking about, whether it's your eating habits, you know, I can have coffee in moderation. I can have a lot of things in moderation. It's when you're no longer doing those things in moderation that it becomes a problem. And that's that impulse control for people and for younger generations, I think, is where we're going to have some of the issues that you're going to see, because there's no level of, well, what's too far. So you personally have to know what your own boundaries are. And that's in all things, because if you completely take humanity out of business, then what makes you any different than the other business? Yeah. The reason why people call me is they know if they call me, I'm going to pick up the phone. Yep. I'm going to talk to Gabby. It's not just some chat bot that they're interacting with on a website. Allegedly. But I mean, it's one of those things where the people buy from people, and that still holds true regardless of.
That's kind of the most value of anything right now.
Absolutely.
Because how do you scale that though? That's the thing, is I think, how do you use AI to leverage that piece? Like the unscalable piece is your time. Right. So in my mind, how can I take AI to remove all of the nonsense work I do that can maximize my time in front of speaking with a customer?
Correct.
Like, how can I remove
it's all those remedial tasks like you talked about, the follow-ups, the, you know, I send this email out. This is my generic format. But that's also where you can kind of lose some of that human element, right? Because it's like, if you had a very specific conversation with that person or with that customer, you need to add in those details.
So that's where AI is crazy. That's why I'm doing my follow-up emails the way I'm doing them, because I have the transcript of the entire Now imagine if your AI has, and it's a long going relationship with somebody, it doesn't just have the one conversation that you've had with them.
Right.
It has every conversation you've ever had with them on the phone. Right. It has every conversation you've ever had with them through email. It has all of that. Like right now, with just the one conversation, I gave it a template email to use, but it automatically adjusts the intro to be very specific to the conversation we just had. And then even the bullet points of like, here's the things that are included in the class, it will change those around and highlight and bold and add extra to the ones that were a thing that was most compelling to that person. And it'll punch it all up. And I'm telling you, it's so insanely good and personalized. Like, it's almost too good that it's like, damn, he didn't do this in 10 minutes.
But I'm not talking about like that part. I'm talking about the human element, right? Like, because if I sit down and I have a conversation with somebody and I'm talking to you about, you know, something that your kids recently did or recently accomplished, like another PR for running the 1600.
Yeah.
Right? Like if I talk with you about that and then I'm able to re-reference that later, that's going to make you feel valued as an individual, right? Because if I'm not teaching my AI to acknowledge those things and it's not important enough for me to remember personally, then I'm going to lose that ability to connect with people. Yeah. Because being skilled at what you do, like you could probably find several other people, but people are ultimately going to buy from you because I had a really great conversation with Rick, or I had a really great conversation with Josh. And hey, Gabby like picks up my phone, she calls, she knows who I am, and she remembers stuff about my family. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, that's what's most important.
That's what sells.
It is.
Yeah.
And being able to retain that information, if we become too reliant on computers, like, yeah, it's great to have a profile where you can go in and look at stuff, But a lot of the stuff that I have in my CRM, like sometimes I'll put little notes like that, or if I know that I'm going to have a hard time remembering or recalling something, I might put like a little client tag on it because I know I need to ask about their dog or whatever. But at the end of the day, really, I'm pulling that out of my recall because it's really good to also keep my mind sharp, because if I'm not keeping my mind sharp, I'm going to lose that skill. And that skill is what has gotten all of us to where we are now.
Well, that's the biggest thing, especially like with like my son growing up, is making sure that he understands that it is a tool. And you still need to put the work in yourself. You cannot rely on this one thing by itself. It's like when we were going through school, like you can't use calculator. You're never going to have one with you at all times. Yes, you are.
Yeah.
And it's going to be the most sophisticated calculator you're ever going to imagine.
Right.
And you
It'll
can
answer word problems, teacher.
It'll help you show the work now too.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like even like using chat, say for like even using it for homework. Like I know Josh has talked about it before. It's like, I'm going to be completely fine with it, but as long as it's used in the correct way. I just don't want you to use it just to get an answer. Because then you will learn nothing. No, I want you to, if you're getting confused on something, I want you to ask it like, hey, how do you get the answer to this? I mean, show me the work of how to get to that answer, so you can see the process of how you got to that answer, because you need to understand all of that to have it, to be able to use that tool even better.
And to be able to take the test too, right? Like, listen, did I use anything that I ever learned in calculus? Absolutely not. No, I've never used a lick of it. Have I used stuff from geometry? Yes. Have I used stuff from algebra 2? Yeah, I have. But not everybody is going to use all of those things. But the problem is, if you don't learn them and you're solely reliant on AI, then, I mean, I'm kind of scared to see what is going to come out. I saw a reel from a teacher. He's a substitute teacher. I think he was a substitute teacher in high school, and the kids were taking a like computer-based test. And when they were taking that test, the question, like the teacher can pull up the computers and they can see what, a certain person's doing. And so he pulled it up and he sees that this one kid is in AI. He copied and pasted the question into AI, had AI generate the answer, and he kicked it back over. Didn't really give it any prompts, like just, hey, give me an answer to this question that sounds like it's in my voice type of thing. The teacher calls the kid over and he says, hey, just out of curiosity, what was the last question that you did? Kid couldn't answer the question. You know what the question was? How is AI going to be used in the school system, and how can it potentially cause issues? And literally this kid had no clue. Yeah. Like the very thing that you're concerned about. Yeah. And they are. There's going to be people that use it right and people that use it wrong. That ultimately falls on us to instill it in our kids on how. Yeah.
It's we're in the same conundrum we were with social media. I think we're getting better with social media because now we've got some experience. But like, if you look at the chaos that kind of ensued in the
circa
last
2006,
decade,
2007.
Yeah, like really from like even like 2014, 15, 16 is when I think it really started getting crazy, because everybody all of a sudden was on there, and then politics got crazy on there, and there was no like
for that.
We've got thousands of years of history of like how to communicate, right?
Right.
And over generation after generation after generation, people were taught how to look someone in the eye when they talk to them, shake their hand, all of these common things.
Well, and if you were going to bully someone, you had to bully them face to face.
Memorizing phone numbers
behind a keyboard.
Memorizing phone numbers is another thing that humans can definitely do, because we did it before all this technology. And now, like, it's hard for me to know my wife's number because I just click her name,
Josh, don't admit that on. Come on.
But it's like we don't have an older, wiser generation to tell us how to use it. Like with social media, we didn't have that. And some of the older people that should have known better were the ones that were the most violent and aggressive on social media politically. And some of them still are. But I think a lot of people have woken up from that and realized, like, okay, this is a waste of my time. So it's like how we use and what kind of culture we instill in our children and how to use AI is up to us right now. Like, because there's no older, wiser generation doing it. So.
No. And the problem is, if you've seen some of the people that have children, it becomes kind of one of those things where it can be a little scary, because you're like, you don't have a filter, and your kids are going to emulate that. Mm-hmm. Like, because they do as you do, not as you say.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
100%.
But we are in a wild time. And I mean, if you think about it, I mean, I was out of high school when, MySpace, I think, became a thing. What was that? 2001, 2002?
Somewhere.
2002, 2003.
Yeah, right.
Because it was after I got out of high school and I graduated in.
I was still barely in high school.
Right. Well, but that was like your senior year is when MySpace came out.
Yeah.
That's like when it became a thing, but you got to pick your content and what you were consuming and who you were interacting with.
Your top 8 people.
Right.
It's really
got to be in that top 8.
Ranking people.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh,
That's a
you
great
move
idea.
someone down and they know they messed up.
Yeah.
Right. But you were able to pick what you were consuming
Yeah.
and leave it to the advertisers to figure out a way. And I love it when you hear it said, like, if there's no cost,
You're the product.
you're the product.
Yeah.
And people still are oblivious to that. Oh, well, it's free. Well, no. Didn't
it's
you
not.
learn your lesson when you were a kid? Nothing's free. There's a cost to everything. Just a matter of what that cost is.
Yeah. That's one thing that makes me a little bit more optimistic towards AI. You gotta pay to use it. So it's not just free. Like there's free versions of the base models, but if you really want to use the cutting edge model right now, it's not advertising based and it's pay. And I think most people are okay with paying with it for what it does.
Well,
But it was
ChatGPT
built-
has a free mode. Like you can operate in a free mode, but
You
it
run
goes
out.
back to that point. It's not like you're in a closed source where all of your content and anything that you put is specific between you and the device. The device is taking what you give it and it's selling it somehow. That data is going somewhere.
They're just collecting it and using it. Apparently,
Right.
all of them they're not doing it with it. But there was a big stink recently. I think Claude spent a bunch of money on a Super Bowl commercial making fun of the fact that OpenAI's free model was about to have ads in it, and then OpenAI killed it. So it's good that at least society's kind of learned its lessons, and there was some pushback on the fact that they were going to put ads into the free model of OpenAI. And it sounds like they killed it because they got a lot of pushback of people being like, okay, I'm going to trust that AI to if it's feeding me ads in the middle of answering my question, I'm not going to trust that.
Yeah.
It's
all about what they're willing to risk.
Well, what's crazy right now
what the
is
cost
people want to
benefit is.
compare those two companies and they're really two separate things entirely. OpenAI did get the consumer and that's the majority. They've got that locked up right now. The vast majority of people that are just randomly using AI are using chat. Claude has got they're growing on the business side,
Right.
Because they've actually made it useful for people that are doing business to.
Well, and I think
not
that's
have to
where
hire.
the models are going to become important because I know that there are things that I could streamline on my current CRM and I'm sure there are ways to build it. And the nice thing is the brokerage owner that I'm out of, he's using Claude right now to build out tools that we're going to be able to leverage. And specifically him and I are going to be able to leverage. And he's like, hey, if you have an idea on something, he'll just work on it. Like he said, it'll be on another screen because, we all have multiple screens now. Are you really working if you only have one screen anymore?
I didn't realize that until I
It's
finally
so
hooked up a
important.
second
Oh my
screen,
gosh.
and especially with CRMs that we use.
Right.
I was just going back and forth, and then when I finally got the little connector to hook up multiple screens, I was like, wow, this just made my life a lot easier. And then now I have an iPad too. So I have my iPad that has my one CRM, and then my MacBook has my Go High stuff going with my emails. And
Right.
it's the efficiency is, I'm like, I should have did this a lot earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and now you're going to have your 2 or 3 or 4 or however many screens you have.
Or this the one
But then-
4-foot wide one.
But then your AI
have
agents,
two that just, feed
in
across.
Claude now it can do it. That's one of the Claude just added a bunch of features which make it to where you can pretty much use co-work to do almost everything you can do with OpenClaw, but you're still stuck in the Claude infrastructure. Your data lives with them and you're only using their models. But you can, and it'll even you can even let it take over your computer now and save files on your computer. But they've even created a web browser for AI agents. So you could have your 4 screens and then you could have your Claude or your OpenClaw or Perplexity or whichever one you're using. Those AI agents might have 300 screens open at the same time. Each agent will be working on multiple screens at the same time.
Sourcing what it is. Yeah.
So imagine going just from a laptop to having a couple screens, how much more productive you are. Now imagine in the background, there's hundreds of screens open being worked on at the same time, doing shit that all of a sudden you don't need to do.
Yep.
That's what's being implemented right now.
Well, and I think that's where we talk about like the efficiencies, right? But at the end of the day, like business ultimately boils down to being about people.
Yeah.
And so it's important to not lose that human element, because the human element is what makes a business successful. It's the individual behind it that makes it successful.
When you use it with that aim. So that's the thing, is like, what's your goals? What's your intentions? Like, how do I amplify my ability to do what I know I'm good at and is the most important thing? So that's like how I'm looking at it. Like, how can I make it to where we don't have to spend time on stuff that can just be automated and spend the vast majority of our time in the highest leverage opportunity, actually in front of people, talking to them.
Right. Totally.
And if that, you make that the aim and you get to now design the system, that's the cool thing, is like, you don't need a developer anymore. Like you clearly don't. Like, you can have software up and running, completely custom for you almost immediately. It's why
well, the days of, remember it, and you guys, I don't know if you guys were around, but like there was this big wave in like 2000, between, I want to say like 2008 to 2000, probably 15, just being in the financial services space and in B2B. I saw a lot of these app developers. Oh, well, we develop apps. And that was like a huge thing. And it was like, oh, do you have an app? Like, everybody wanted their own app, but they were clinky. They didn't work. And the problem is the people that are not only expensive, but the people that are developing them aren't the people that do that business. So, you can immediately tell when you log into any type of CRM and you're like, this is a developer that made this, or any type of software. Like, this is somebody who develops software. This isn't somebody who actually does the function that the intended purpose of that software is for.
Yeah.
That's where when one of the main CRMs we used, Tint was, that's where he crushed the market. Was he ran his own business in LA. He then realized while he was running his business, because he developed the software for his business, because he was using Excel spreadsheets, he was using Google, and he was doing out of multiple different areas. And he realized, like, all right, how do I consolidate this down? Came up with the CRM idea, sold the company, and he knew that, like, suddenly he's like, I'm going to sell the company and I'm going to take all the resources from that. I'm putting it into this. This is what helped my company grow and scale. And then you can tell when he released it, it's like, all right, this was developed by someone who knows our industry, who saw the glaring holes that we had for digital proposals and all that.
Well, I remember when you because you and I had gone to coffee.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember this. And it was right when you guys got like Tint was, or when you were talking to them about bringing it on and like changing your CRM software. So I remember the story, because I remember thinking, and like, that's the person that should be developing the software. Because as an insurance agent, if I'm going in and I'm using a software and that software doesn't function and do the things that I need it to do in order to be able to communicate and have the stuff that I need for my client, like, before I came here, I ran to the office real quick and I had a client reach out to me. They needed an auto ID card because they're sitting at the DMV. Well, they're sitting at the DMV. They had the auto ID card. It's in their email. They just can't find it. I was able to locate it within 2 seconds, send it to him, and he was able to get his vehicle registered without having any problems. And that's value. That's value add, right? Because one, he knew he was able to text me and it was a, hey, are you awake? I'm like, no, I'm not just awake. I'm at the office, dude. Like, it's 8 a.m. Like, it's before 8 a.m. I'm at the office.
Yeah.
And I was able to do that within the drop of a dime. And that is going to live in his mind, because that's, hey, she picks up the phone, or she answered, or she got me what I needed, when technically most places like that are closed. Now, could I use AI to do that? I'm sure there's a way that I could use AI to do that, or create some type of prompt or system where
with an agent, you could have it monitoring your, and it would automatically just find it and send it. And
correct.
100%.
Right. Like I could have it monitor my email. So in that specific situation, I would have to take the client's information, like, hey, this is the individual name, this is the contact number, this is what document they need, and then have it scrub through the CRM system to be able to then send out that. I'm sure I could do that.
You totally do it.
Yeah. Josh is like, I'll help you figure it out.
I mean,
I'm
it's
going to
crazy
keep that over. We're going to
you don't need any technical expertise. Like once you understand which connections are available, and now with the agents being able to browse, like if there isn't a way to automatically already automate it, it can just log in as if it's a person and browse the same way you would. And then you can even train it too to make it learn faster. Like you could screen record yourself. This is normally what I do when this action happens. And you're talking, I click on this link and then I click on this and then you give it that. And now it doesn't have to go in and spend a bunch of tokens learning how to do it. Like, okay, cool. Click on dashboard, click on contact, search the person's name. Boom, I'm there.
I mean, people think that like the VA space, because a lot of people in industry use like virtual assistants, whether it's out of the Philippines or they're using a company like Bruntwork, or I mean, there's a million of like the virtual assistant sourcing companies, because it's a way to bring down on labor costs for simple job functionality that's administrative, that doesn't take a ton of brain bandwidth to be able to figure out how to do.
And also too, there's no growth within that spot. So to find someone who actually is at least here, that it would be like, oh, I want that job, but also there's zero growth in this job.
Right.
But now you can outsource it somewhere where like, no, I'm cool with $8 an hour, because like I'm living like a king.
Totally.
That. Like I'm good.
Dude, beyond. And it's wild because like you also want to talk about work ethic and the willingness to be able to learn new tools and or to leverage AI. Like you could train one of them in order to do those simple job functionalities and help build out these bots.
Well, it's going to replace them. They're going to be one of the first ones to go.
Not necessarily.
Human touch point.
Because, exactly. Because here's the thing.
Well, you can make one of them a lot more powerful.
Exactly. You can make them more powerful. And here's why I say that. Gone. Dude, I don't know, man. Because I don't know if listen, so I'll just use this as an example. I work with a lot of other insurance agents. It's not like it's just me. Like I have other people that I partner with or that I'll refer business out to if it doesn't make sense. And so like when I had this situation where I called one of my other agents that I work with, and AI answered the phone, and I felt pissed. I felt like I was like, I'm calling to talk to you about a potential prospect that I have for you. So I have business that I'm just going to lay at your feet. That like, I mean, you have to not answer the phone to get the business, is the way that this situation was. She never called me back. I text her, didn't hear from her, but she's using AI agents to answer the phone. And so I know, especially if you're dealing with an older demographic too, right? Like it also depends on your client base.
Like it.
Well, right now, but again, right now is the worst it's ever going to be. Right. And it's already pretty good. When that chasm is crossed, where when you're on the phone with it, you literally cannot tell, and it has a flowing conversation with you. And the way talking with Claude in chat works compared to the previous versions of like ChatGPT that I've used.
Do you have a new best friend?
Already, no, but it's already night and day difference on how it understands context. And even I just did Ways to Well and had blood drawn. When they get your lab results back on their app right now, their app has to be using Claude. It pulls up to have your little meeting with Alan, their virtual doctor, which they've trained in-house. It's an alien. It's 3-dimensional. It looks like a Zoom call you're having with it. It starts talking to you and it asks like a really good question, and it's got a button for you to push when you want to talk. So you got to hold down the button to talk. But the conversation I had with that, going over my blood work and the way I talked to it, was really, really, really good. and it understood the context of me telling it things.
But you were talking to an alien, so you're not talking to a real person.
Saying. Again, it's the worst it's ever going to be.
Right.
Pretty soon it's going to look like a real human. You're not going to have to push the little button. When you go to talk and interrupt it, it's going to stop, and it's going to be seamless.
Yeah, but I think that's going to be the tip off that it's AI. And that it's not a human, because real humans, we're going to run over each other in conversation.
I'm just saying, remember Napster?
Dude,
and now look at what we got.
I do. I remember Napster and LimeWire and all of that. Yeah. But you still have people within our demographic that aren't going to be okay with it. It's not just our parents' generation, right? What did you say? I want to talk to somebody. I don't want to talk to.
I hate when I call somewhere and especially if it's a problem I'm trying to get. Well, yeah, it's a problem I'm trying to get solved, even for our company.
But then it's also like, what do I have to use? Representative. Like the amount of people that have to yell.
I'm not screws.
You're naming all the things that this solves. It gets rid of all of that.
Does it get rid of it though, or does it show the leaky buckets even more? Because at the end of the day, you're still going to have a leaky bucket.
No, I don't think you will. I think the problem that lady's having right now is she just doesn't have a very good version set up. Definitely doesn't have something like OpenClaw. If you have it set up properly, and anytime it does make a mistake compared to a normal employee and you correct it, it will never make that mistake again. That's the direction it's going.
But what about ours though? Sierra does the same stuff.
Well, no, that's not there yet. I'm not talking about that.
We have an AI agent that answers our phone after hours.
Yeah.
And then on Sunday.
That's the shit people don't like.
Which I'm fine with that, because it's like
it's after hours and it's on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but they tried implementing it to where it would answer if like our people couldn't get to it within like the fourth or fifth ring, then it would go straight to her.
No, because then you're going to train the employees not to pick up the phone, because they know that it's going to go straight to AI anyways.
Well, no, because it wasn't having good results because it's still clinky. But when it's not clinky, I'm going to probably prefer it to pick up the phone. I know that that's coming. I'm like very confident that's coming.
Look, I mean, I'm sure it is. But my ultimate point is that I don't think that, like in my situation, my clients appreciate that an actual person picks up the phone. Even though my person has a very heavy accent, they still appreciate that an individual picks up the phone, knows where I am, knows who I am, knows who they are. I mean, I have clients that have full-on conversations. AI isn't going to be able to create. Okay, could it? Probably, yes. But with some of the older clients, the older client base isn't going anywhere, and you're still going to have people that are uncomfortable with it anyways. Are they going to have to interact with it? Yeah. But I also think that I think you're going to see no different than how all old styles come back, right? Like all of the stuff that we're seeing from the 90s. Like, I mean, whoever thought the Jinko jeans were going to come back? Like, let's be real.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying.
I got a teenage boy right now that it drives me insane.
Right.
I'm so glad my parents wouldn't let me wear that crap.
Right.
Because I definitely wanted to.
But my point is that old stuff comes back always.
It does.
So you'll end up seeing, my guess is we'll end up seeing waves of places hiring people.
Just to have someone on the phone.
Right? So I feel like you'll end up seeing ebbs and flows of this. So it'll be like, oh, remember this? I mean, how many people are putting in landlines now?
Are they?
Yeah, yes. Like actual physical home phones are becoming a thing.
Really?
Because you can actually sync them with cell phones, and it's a safe way for children to use technology and to be able to get a hold of their parents still using a landline that you can connect through your Alexa or whatever, your Google Home or whatever it is that you have, so that you're not having to give your kid a hyper super computer.
I gave my son, he got for Christmas. I'm trying to think, did I give it to him? It was a gift he got on Christmas, so I'm not going to say who it was. I'm not sure if it was me or Santa. Wanted to. He wanted an Apple Watch, and I was like, oh, that's definitely not happening. But T-Mobile has a Kids to Go watch where you download. I have the app on my phone. I can set his watch on school mode, which shuts it down completely. The only thing that scares me with him having it right now, he has the capability of calling 911 at any time. And he like teeters on the edge of like, he knows he shouldn't, but at the same time, I know he could probably be influenced just to be a dummy at school and hit it and see what happens. Right. But I get to put in the phone numbers he gets to call. So he has my number in there. He's got my wife's. He can have the grandparents.
Yeah.
And then he can do that, and he can FaceTime us which is crazy that he can FaceTime through his watch. But like then it's got like little games and stuff on it. But he has a dedicated phone number, but he cannot dial a number. He can only reach me, and that's it.
But I mean, you look at, because our kids are going to be able to figure out AI way faster than us, right? I mean, I even look at, like, my 5-year-old is better on figuring out a game than my husband is. It's crazy.
I thought that day would come a little bit later when I was getting my ass kicked by my son in games.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, dude. There are certain games he destroys me on. Like even like Mario Kart on the Switch, like I would destroy him, but then he finally started understanding it and he knows how to do it.
He has more storage space in his brain. Like you just have to think he's got more.
I'm like, I didn't think this day was coming anytime soon. This is bullshit.
This is where I'm like counter on the kid thing. Like I think just like everything else, there's a yin and a yang and there's positive and negative. I think the kids whose parents realize now, like, set up a tutor agent for your kid that I want everything they ever learn going through this agent forever. And
I don't think that's a bad idea. I'm not saying that that's a bad idea.
They're going to know how you learn, and like you only have a short window of time where your brain is super plastic. So it's like faster.
You mean pliable?
Yeah. Well,
plastic.
Or
I mean, your brain plastic, yes.
Well, or
we've been around too many microplastics.
Where before it has a lot of plastic in it. But where it's like it can learn like crazy, and it's like kids that actually have the right stimulus and education coming into them in a way that's best for their brain early are going to be on another level.
Yeah, but the difference is it goes back to setting up the like parameters and the boundaries with it, because the problem is, I mean, look at what we saw happen with Roblox, right? Like the amount of predators and predatory behavior.
That's what I'm saying. There's going to be negatives.
There's always going to be negatives. And I mean, that's a big one. That's a huge one. Mm-hmm. And I also don't want my child, I want to guide my child and give my child the direction that I know from the lens that I know is best for them. Yeah. Because AI is going to think something totally different.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you put the time and energy into being involved in that, you're the one setting it up. You're the one giving it the parameters and the guidelines. You're checking in on it. It knows your parenting philosophy, all of that stuff.
Right.
It's like now you've got a personal assistant in parenting.
No, totally.
Like, those are the ways that it's going to be used. That's going to be like, but we're figuring it out right now. Like, I mean, right now, our big fear is like unfettered social media or AI access to a kid. When we were young, it was just like be in before it's dark out because there might be somebody in a creepy van that might pick you up. Like,
well, it was situational awareness. It was being aware of your surroundings.
The situations just changed drastically. So I think all the same underlying principles still apply.
They do, but then the problem is that you have these people that are just completely ignorant to all of this.
They've always existed,
right?
though.
No, and they have in
but
every...
Now they're amplified.
Exactly, because they're busy looking at a screen the entire time, and they're not actually engaged with their children. So the problem is there has to be boundaries for parents as well, because ultimately people and humans, we thrive on connection. Like, we could have easily done this with me on a Zoom call on the other side of town having dialect, but there's a difference between actually physically sitting down with somebody and having conversation around a table than there is with, I mean, I could make an AI chatbot to sound like Gabby and probably look a lot better than Gabby and like have all the things that would make this work. But ultimately, as humans, we're not built to live isolated. And the thing that can happen if you're not careful with tech is it will create isolation points in your life and lack of connectivity. And when we lose connectivity, that's when we lose what it is to be human. Yeah. And that's where lives don't matter. I mean, look at what happened during COVID, right? Like the amount of people that stopped interacting with people because this was covered, because we were walking around in masks. Yeah. Like, look at what happened to the children that were developing during that time frame. The slowdown in language that occurred in children during that time, because at a doctor's appointment, their parents and the doctor had masks on. Yeah. So they're not watching the very basic fundamentals of somebody's mouth moving in order to help formulate words.
Yeah.
And those type of connection points are what make us the smart species. That's what is our biggest differentiator, is the fact that we live in community. Apes and chimps live in community and they communicate with one another, but our frontal lobe development and the way that we are taught to have relationship is really the biggest like change and differentiator between us and, you know, the dolphins.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're developing an immune system to it the same way that
Totally.
like it's the same thing. Like there's going to be things that happen that are bad for sure, but it's inevitable. So it's like it's kind of the COVID analogy. Like you can go lock yourself away and hide for 2 years, or you can go out and still do your thing.
Natural herd immunity
so it's like,
to
I
it.
think you got
totally.
Like there's going to be people that have issues for sure, but that's the only way we're going to learn, right? So it's like, I think that's the biggest analogy I can make on it right now is like, we're going into the complete unknown and we need to develop a way to actually use this and work in it in a good way. And the only way you do that is by actually just start using it, and then have like an agenda, have a reason, like make sure that you actually stick to that and you don't get lost. And it's going to make real life interactions more valuable. So I think like real life, like
events
going to events are going to be the biggest they've ever been. And like, so and what's cool is ideally it's going to free up your time and make you more efficient at work. If you use it properly, you're probably going to be more productive and be able to spend more free time with people.
Right.
Like that would be the ideal like outcome is, all right, how many more people can be so much more productive? I mean, that's the big problem right now is deflation, I think, more than inflation. I think that it might be good that we've been printing money, because if you look at it, the cost of everything is even the token cost to use AI is plummeting. So the cost to use AI is going down drastically as it scales. And then the amount of things that it's going to produce and how much more productivity we're going to create is probably going to actually finally create some free time for people to do physical stuff.
I mean, we would hope.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably utopian, but
the in-person interaction is going to be the big thing. Like events now, like being able to do an event where you're actually going to an event and interacting with people. I mean, it's happening in our industry. We used to have like one industry event every year. That was like the big industry event. Now they're popping up all over the place.
Yeah.
To where, and now people are starting to realize the real benefit of that is to actually go there, network with people, talk with people.
Yeah.
Like competing's fun. It's always going to be fun.
But that's like the reason behind the real reason.
Yeah.
Because I think what COVID taught us is how isolated people feel.
Mm-hmm.
And we thrive on connection. I mean, if you watch somebody that sits at a desk and is typing all day long, watch the way that their body language changes, the way that they light up, what you see physically happen to them when there's engagement. There's a ton of studies on the human brain and what that connection does and how it fosters overall well-being and development. And so these actual network events or, you know, industry specific events where you're able to go and connect with other people, you're also talking to people that speak your language, right? Like there's nothing worse than, you know, starting a job or going somewhere and you sit around an office and you talk with people in your own language all day because you have different language than what I'm going to. I have different acronyms. So you can talk in acronyms all day long about Tint. I could talk in insurance jargon all day long, but then I go home and there's a level of differentiation between the conversation level that I'm having at work and the conversation level I'm having at home. Because I can go home and geek out about some of the newest stuff that I'm seeing in the industry. Now, my husband's actually interested. I'm very fortunate, but that's not the case for everybody. Yeah. So events like that give people that ability to kind of rapid fire about the things that they're passionate for, because that's really what makes life worth living, is having passion.
It's funny. It makes me think of, to me, I think the biggest danger of social media and the way media is going is how unique everyone, like information in equals information out, right? So it's like when we were growing up, it was like everybody watched the same television shows on Friday night.
Right.
And everybody went to the movie theater and saw the same movies at the same time.
Right.
And movies became available at Blockbuster at about the same time. So there was always a conversation to be had. Yeah, there was always a conversation to be had on like just general information in society that everybody was kind of on the same page. And now with Netflix and YouTube and social media and everybody having different algorithms, you can have two people that live in the same house, are married, and they're less connected than, like drastically less connected on things to talk about than a generation ago.
Well, and even like when you look at the content, because that's what newspapers originally were about. Newspapers were originally about disseminating news all across the world. And so when you had everybody read the paper, right? Same thing. Like when you look generationally at what's happened in the journalism and media space period, like even what has transpired since I got out of college. I mean, journalism was that was my degree, journalism and media studies. And I was literally thinking about this the other day. I was like, man, how much of that is actually relevant now? Yeah. None of it. Because you're brought up and like, if you go to journalism school, it's like, oh, like non-bias. There's not supposed to be any bias. There's clearly bias in all journalism, right? Like it doesn't matter what side of the coin you're on.
Yeah.
And it's all coming from the same main like companies.
Same main corporations.
So, correct. Yeah. So regardless of what you're looking for, at the end of the day, you're still going to get fed the same thing if you're going to news media. However, independent media and independent news outlets and channels and just the flow of information that we have now between social media and online content and everything, I'll see something, I'll think I've brought it up to my husband, and then it'll show up in my husband's algorithm like 4 weeks later. And I'm like, oh, we didn't talk about that? I thought we talked about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that like weeks ago.
Well, that's the scary thing. That's the scariest thing to me about social media is like, could people that these networks have information on what you're interested in, what they're interested in, all these different connections. So something like even like TikTok, like could a bad actor be intentionally injecting things that are going to cause division between people that it knows are connected?
Oh, 1,000%.
And like that's what causes the anti-vax and the pro-vax people to just be at each other's throat. And then all of a sudden they're not going to each other's family get-togethers because it's literally being engineered in the background. Like, how much distress can I create in America right now between
to create division?
Spouses?
Oh, dude, that 1,000%. Like, don't even
that's,
get
I
me.
think, the biggest danger of it because it could be happening without anybody realizing.
Dude, it is happening. It is happening. Because, like, it's no different than Tony Robbins. I saw Tony Robbins do a podcast. And so like, we'll just use this as an example. So I want you to look around the room and I want you to tell me everything that you see that's green.
Yeah.
And he gives, I think it's Theo Vaughn. Yeah. He's on with Theo Vaughn, right? And it's like, so Theo does that. And then what happens? Okay, now I want you to tell me everything you saw that was red.
Yeah.
And then he further talks about you want to feel successful. So maybe something that you saw that was burgundy, but that wasn't red, you counted that as red.
Yep.
And because you don't want to feel like a failure, because the things that you are watching, they're coming in and they're looking at what it is that you're watching and they're taking that and they're multiplying that by 20.
Yeah.
Like if I work really hard to make all of my social media content all about, I don't know, German Shepherd puppies, I could work really hard and that could become my algorithm. I get pugs on my algorithm all the time because if I get a pug video, I'll send it to Allie and to another buddy of mine that have pugs.
Yeah. Well,
I don't have pugs. Why am I getting pugs? My dad is getting Great Danes right now. Who's he sending the Great Dane videos to? Me, because I have a Great Dane.
What's funny is my natural way to
I did beagles. I just got a beagle a year ago. Same thing now. My feed is just filled with beagle news. And
well, what's cool is once you're aware of it though, like this is how I'm training my kids. Like, hey, if you want your algorithm to be a time suck, just do whatever on there. But if you want it to be something productive, like hey, you're into running or you're into wrestling or whatever they're into, Use it for that. Like follow top level wrestlers, follow top runners. Like what are the things that when you're on there using it is going to be more productive and not just the time suck?
Well,
you control your algorithm.
Intention, right? It's intentionality.
It's ultimately going to mirror it back to you.
It's going to mirror what you're looking for and what it sees is drawing your attention, because that's where they are able to monetize it.
And then just watch out for the outliers, that stuff that pops up that you're like, why did that pop up? If you start engaging with that stuff too much, all of a sudden you're going to get more of that. So,
but it's all about situational awareness, right? So it goes back to what, I mean, you remember the American Most Wanted or like the missing child that would come up, John Walsh, all of that stuff. Like we were taught about situational awareness and being aware. Like there's a reason why universally we all know the minivan with the, windows blacked out. Like now it might be because they went and just got really awesome tint, but it also like back in the day, that wasn't like what it specifically was geared towards, but it was about being aware. And the problem is you can go too far down a rabbit hole. It's also, you got to come up for air.
Yeah.
And if you're not coming up for air and putting that boundary in place, it's going to make you get sucked in.
Speaking of rabbit holes, and then I think we got to wrap this up. You see, we're sending astronauts around the moon this week.
The second moon, the alleged second moon.
That was why I'm bringing it up. Going down rabbit holes, like maybe this will be the first time we actually go to the moon.
Yeah.
NASA. They're not going to land on the moon, but they're going to circle Earth for a couple of days, test the system, and then they're going to slingshot around the moon and back for the first time since the Apollo missions.
Is it going to be believable?
That's the problem. Like, even if it's real,
I mean,
they can now completely real-time AI generate the whole thing.
You want to go down like a really solid one? Like, have you gone down the Gerald the Dolphin? Dude.
Gerald the
I'll
Dolphin.
have to like when I come up, I get some wild ones.
Yeah.
There's this whole like.
There's a whole industry of entertainment in it because a lot of it's so bad that it's just like, oh, this is kind of funny.
They really made a movie about them making a fake about going to the moon, and we did it just in case they didn't make it. We wanted to have the fake just in case.
That was Scarlett Johansson, right?
Yeah. I've kind of fallen down that. I mean, I'm kind of already there. I think they wanted to win the Cold War no matter what, and the thing that's advanced since then hasn't been our ability to travel out into space. The thing that's advanced since then is our ability to make really good fake video. It's like
the movies have gotten really good.
Well, I mean, there's all that stuff too around the fact that like NASA originally was developed in order to study the oceans. Yeah. Why did they stop?
Because the ocean's terrifying.
Oh no!
And space isn't.
Space is, but
it might not even be real, Ricky.
Right, that's the point. Like, what's in the oceans? What did they find in the oceans? That's like another conspiracy theory. What did they find in the oceans?
Something that told them to turn
around. Your phone's been listening to us this whole time, so now like all of this stuff is going to start popping up.
Yeah, well, I think AI was given to us so that we can communicate with whatever is already here.
All right, so thanks for following Yeah, I'm not going to let you go down that one.
That's hilarious.
I mean, it is a universal translator. It's actually kind of biblical. It's nuts. All right, that was fun.
Well, we appreciate you coming down and sit down and have a conversation.
Thanks for having me, man.
Where can people find? I know we related to. I know you've mentioned it. I know that you do insurance, workman's comp, and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Where can people find you if they're looking to get anything like that done?
So it would be Cactus Pine Agency. So cactus spelled out, pine spelled out, no space, no nothing. Period. Agency.
Okay. Because I know all of us. I know we just went through some stuff where probably should have brought it up, but I'm still planning on talking to you after that. We just got audited for our workman's comp and all that fun stuff, and I learned a bunch of new things about the do's and don'ts.
Oh, I could tell you all the things. I know a little bit about your comp company, so
yeah, that's thankfully that's why Michelle got brought onto the company. That's her problem to figure out, and I just get the wave tops, things that what I have to do or don't do when it comes to subcontractors and everything else. So.
Oh, the joys.
Oh, yeah. The fun
stuff. It's a lot easier just being an installer.
I just want to
that's for sure.
Just drive safe out there, man.
Yeah.
Our valley's wild.
Yeah, to say the least.
That's another automated cars are going to end all that. Going to be no.
Dude, the Zooks is like right down the street. I've been watching them develop. it for the last several years.
A lot of them. That's going to take over.
It's creepy. It is so creepy.
Well, just get in a Tesla and let somebody do self-drive while you're in a Tesla and you'll be blown away. It's so good now. It's insane.
No, thank you.
It's insane. I trust it more than a human.
More than you, yes, I do.
No.
Then I think that's going to wrap it up there. We appreciate you guys following along. Until next time, have a good one.
All right, thank you.
Hey.